So, Dr. Sean, I want to ask you because you talk about the body's internal communication systems, and you
Mhm.
may have alluded to it, but I kind of want you to explain it in terms that listeners can understand.
Absolutely. So a lot of my approach centers upon the concept of feedback. So the way that the body works and communicates with itself is through bioelectric signals. We've confirmed this, via research that electrical signals are sent from cell to cell, atom to atom, and that generates the expression of genes, the production of protein, and the electric signals are by their energy, and that's what we talk about when we talk about like energy flowing through the body, and really it's the change in flow of energy that generates these potentials and this these micro level changes in how our body works. So what I try to do with my therapies is to create essentially positive feedback loops, to send frequency based messages, which is how frequencies are how the cells communicate with one another with these electric signals, to promote the right expression of genes, the right pathways, the right movement in the right direction, to help a person get better. And this way, it's more of a facilitating effect as opposed to forcing it to happen. I'll use like the very classic example, which many of the viewers may be familiar with. So, like, a lot of you have probably heard of the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve, emanates from our upper neck area, and it's the regulator of our parasympathetic nervous system. So that's the opposite of the sympathetic we talked about earlier. So there are different ways to approach vagal dysfunction. Vagal dysfunction is that classic example we talked about earlier, where people are overstimulated, they don't have enough parasympathetic activity. So you could just increase vagus nerve tone. So that would be like these vagus nerve stimulators that, have become very popular on the market. Pulsetto, and there's a number of them, and now they're even starting to implant them surgically. But that's really only just stimulating it. So it's not necessarily fixing the system. It's just like hacking. It's biohacking. It's trying to control how that thing works. What I try to do is send signals to the vagus nerve and even to the sympathetic nervous system to balance each other out so that they're more, evened out. It's not upregulating one. It's more like increasing vagus function and decreasing sympathetic function. So this way they meet in the middle, and then you're more in a homeostatic balanced state. And when we're able to accomplish that, then the body functions on its own, and you don't need to walk around with a vagus nerve stimulator. You don't need to have an implanted surgical device in your neck, which to me sounds a little bit uncomfortable. And that's really just a metaphor for all of the other things we can do. We can retrain our gut in terms of how the gut processes things. And by doing this, you're helping the body to help itself. You're helping the body to function as it was designed to. And if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that our bodies, you know, evolved over thousands of years and are, very intelligently designed. Our body often knows what it wants to do or what it's trying to accomplish. There's just like one or two things in the way. Um,
Yep.
and I'm sure a lot of us have had those moments where, a specific treatment or a massage or something has magically made something get better, and the reality of that is on like a neurochemical level, on a, more scientific level, it wasn't the treatment that was, like, that powerful that made it happen. It was like your body had already sort of assembled all the things needed to accomplish the task. There was just one roadblock in the way, and that treatment removed that roadblock, and then bam,
Yeah.
it succeeded. Um, and, I love thinking of it that way and explaining it that way because it goes right back to that theme of empowerment, like, that the body is doing all of these things. The medication didn't do it. The surgery didn't do it. It it was a catalyst, and that really makes us recognize how amazing and powerful we are as people, as humans.